tuning into another episode of the Jock and Jill podcast. This is your boy Guru from Cold Coffee TV, here with your girl Joan, Madden, the Gridiron Goddess. Good morning. Joan, how you doing this morning?
Greetings. Good morning. Happy Friday. Cheers to the weekend. Just got paid this Friday night, or Friday morning in my case, all that good stuff. Struggling though, just a tad bit. You know, the game kept me up a little bit late last night. I mean, because the way Aaron Rodgers then was playing, he was still trying to get some more stats and stuff. So I was like, okay, Aaron Rodgers is probably going to try to go for 3 more touchdowns or something. So let's try to stay up and see what's going on. So yeah, but he didn't. Thankfully, he didn't get too greedy and too out of pocket and out of mind. But yeah, dragging a little bit as a result, just trying to see like, oh, okay, what's it? Wait a minute, hold up. Yeah, just trying to see what else Aaron Rodgers is gonna do. But yeah, 26-10 victory, divisional game, Packers over the Bears last night. Unfortunately, the Bears has gone to 1-6.
Yeah, and that's awful. To add insult to injury, you know, the Bears lose their quarterback Brian Hoyer last night to a broken arm. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, you know, at the end of the game wanted to pad his stats a little bit. You know, he really didn't do too much in the first half, but you know, in the second half, he came out there, you know, he made some plays, ended up with 3 TD passes and 300 yards. So, you know, his stats look pretty darn good in that game. And for the fantasy owners out there, I know y'all happy he padded them stats like that. To me, looking at the statistics doesn't really tell the story of how the game really played out. The Chicago Bears offense struggled mightily with the exit of Hoyer. And, I mean, they didn't do too much when he was in the game, honestly, before he left. But, you know, the game still was tied at 3-3. You really didn't get an opportunity to see what he was going to be able to do. Maybe he might be able to pull this game out last night. Very interesting contest. You know, I will say that the Chicago Bears defense looks like they really are starting to take on the identity of John Fox. He's trying to run the ball and play solid defense. And, you know, it's looking like that he's got the format in place. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, getting more talent to make it work. So we're going to get right into the 4 o'clock games and the Sunday night game in addition to the Monday night game. The first game on the slate is the San Diego Chargers and the Atlanta Falcons. This is a tale of two teams headed in two different directions. The Atlanta Falcons are currently sitting atop their division, the NFC South, and the San Diego Chargers are currently sitting at the bottom of the AFC West. The San Diego Chargers is a real interesting situation considering that they've had the lead in every game they've played this season and still managed to lose 4 out of the 6 total games. The Atlanta Falcons, on the other hand, are sitting at 4-2. They've won some nail biters. So this is a real interesting game. And then you have the storyline of the two quarterbacks. You have Matt Ryan, the quarterback who you normally expect to underachieve, and then you have the overachiever, Phillip Rivers, you know, on the losing team. So it's a real interesting storyline for this game. Joan, who you got?
This is probably going to be my upset pick of the week. I like Phillip Rivers coming to the Dome. I don't know. I like Phillip Rivers, period. Guy has a killer instinct. I don't know. It's just something about his moxie and his appeal. He's a great player to watch. This is the team I'm going to roll with as far as dropping Atlanta for their second straight week. This is about the time of the year when Atlanta has started 5-0 and 6-0 before. This is about the time of year where it starts to get a little bit out of control for Atlanta. And I think we saw a trace of that last week. And I know you mentioned that how San Diego have been up in games and have lost 4 of those 6 games after being up going into the fourth quarter. Well, Atlanta did the same thing last week. And so they had a fourth quarter lead as well, and they collapsed, had a chance to beat Seattle at home, and they didn't. And the fact that their pass defense is very, very friendly, and the fact that Phillip Rivers is a type of quarterback who likes to air the ball out just like a Matt Ryan does and just like a Drew Brees does, I think that he will pick that apart a little bit. Hunter Henry is starting to emerge, and he's just a rookie. And what's crazy about Hunter Henry is he's been having success even with Antonio Gates in the lineup. And so I think that Phillip Rivers will connect with him, and they'll have some success. Also, the other reason why I'm picking San Diego with this game is because they've had a little bit more time to prepare. The last time we saw San Diego was a week ago, was last Thursday night, a week and a day ago last Thursday night, and they knocked off the Super Bowl champions. Granted, it was a home game, but still, they knocked off the Super Bowl champions. And I know it was a divisional match, but still, let me repeat, they knocked off the Super Bowl champions. Now, When Atlanta played the Super Bowl champions, they didn't knock them off, but San Diego did. And I think that they could kind of use that. San Diego will use that as like a measuring stick and proceed throughout the rest of the season. That was huge for them. And again, I think the additional time and the fact that this is something familiar with how Atlanta just kind of starts folding around this time of year as they have done in the past. Again, just look at the trend. 5-0, they've started off before, or 6-0, something like that, and they folded. I think it'll be a close game, and I know the Dome is a tough place to play in. I mean, I was actually there earlier this year when Carolina played them, and it is very raucous in there. But I just trust Phillip Rivers, and this will be my upset pick of the week.
Interesting to say the least. I think that the San Diego Chargers do have the team in the makeup to defeat the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, and I think that they will do so as well. I share that sentiment with you. I think that San Diego is a team that's better than their record suggests. You know, they've been in the lead against every team they've played, and they happened to beat the Denver Broncos, by the way, and they were pretty much manhandled by the San Diego Chargers in that game. So that lets you know the talent that's on that team. The Atlanta Falcons, on the other hand, you know, they've gotten by, but they've beaten some teams that are elite as well. You know, they knocked off the Denver Broncos. As a matter of fact, you know, many people are giving them credit for laying the blueprint for beating the Denver Broncos. However, that is incorrect because all they did was steal the blueprint from the New England Patriots. You know, the New England Patriots like to spread you out and throw to the little scat backs all over the place, i.e. Deion Lewis, and before him, Danny Woodhead, and, you know, those guys like that. You know, like that's the way they like to play. So, you know, Kyle Shanahan, you know, stole that blueprint that worked very successfully against Denver. And then if you looked at the game last week against, the Denver Broncos playing against the San Diego Chargers, then, you know, they used a similar format, you know, throwing those little quick hitters over the middle, you know, to get those linebackers out in space because they don't cover well. So, you know, that's actually a very smart format. And I think that Denver's going to see a whole lot more of that the rest of the season now that, you know, they've been exposed that their linebackers can't cover. I definitely think that San Diego, with Hunter Henry, Antonio Gates, and Travis Benjamin, you know, the weapons that Phillip Rivers possess will cause problems down the seam and down the field in general just against the Atlanta Falcons defense, a defense who's allowed 14 touchdowns in 5 games now? 6 games? A lot of passing touchdowns, by the way. You know, this is a team that allows the pass to happen. You know, as Joan always has been talking about the last few weeks here, you know, the Atlanta Falcons have manufactured a pass rush this season, so they do make some plays. But at the same time, they still give up some. That'll bode well for the San Diego Chargers in this game. Now moving on to the next game, the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a matchup of two very talented quarterbacks in Colin Kaepernick and Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston just happens to be one of my favorite quarterbacks. I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you know, are a team that can be elite, you know, if all of their players are healthy. This is a real interesting matchup, to say the least, because Colin Kaepernick's finally just getting his opportunity with Chip Kelly offense. It seems to be a situation that just it's a feel-good story. Like the 49ers are going to start reeling off some wins just because it's not expected, or then you have a lot of people rooting against him. Joan, who you got in this game? This is a real interesting game. Who you got?
I'm rolling with another upset on this one. I like San Francisco at home on this one. I know Tampa's coming off of a bye, but they only have 2 wins for the season. And I know San Francisco only has 1, and they haven't won one since earlier this season. It seems like an eternity ago since they won. And I know that San Francisco is ranked last in run defense. I mean, people are racking up 170 yards on them per game in rushing yards. But here's the thing. Tampa's coming in here one man down. They're man down in the running back position. So they really don't get to fully take advantage of this opportunity as other teams have been able to do so. No Doug Martin in this game. Looking at Jaquez Rogers being the starter. He'll get the workload of the carries, understandably so, consequently so. But again, I honestly think that a lot of the reasons why these teams have had success running against San Francisco is because they've had tandems. They've kind of worn them out, substitutions and swapping them out. Again, Tampa's not afforded that opportunity. They're down one man. So I think that might take Tampa out of their game plan a little bit and actually force them to have to throw the ball a little bit more. I also like the fact that, like with Kaepernick, granted they played Buffalo, a Buffalo team who was on a 3-game winning streak at the time they played them, and consequently won their 4th one against San Francisco last week. And even though they didn't put up a lot of points on the board, Kaepernick made some decent moves. I think the thing is they didn't have a lot of time of offense either. Like, they weren't on the field for a long time. And I would have liked to have seen him stretch the field a little bit more on third downs. I think we'll see that come this week. Honestly, I do. I just really trust Kaepernick, and the fact that also Carlos Hyde's situation will make Kaepernick have to do more. And the thing is, we can't forget that Kaepernick has had success. I mean, this is a guy who played in the Super Bowl, and the year before that, he went to an NFC Championship game, and he made plays, and he made a lot of these plays individually, with scrambling and just being able to be smart and knowing when not to take a sack, when like to throw it out of bounds and things like that. And I just honestly think that last week just starting, that was shaking off the rust, shaking off the butterflies. He had been kind of out of shape. He's going home this week, and there's a lot of people backing him at home. Like, this guy is considered a hero at home. I think that'll help give him some motivation. I understand Tampa, again, is coming off the bye, but with those 2 wins, I'm not as high on Tampa as a lot of other people are. I still just don't completely see it. I still think they're about 1 or 2 years away from really, really making noise. And I think also that Kaepernick might even outplay Winston on this game Sunday. So, again, that's my upset pick. I'm going with the 49ers at home on Sunday.
As you probably would expect, I'm definitely taking Tampa to win this game. I think that Jameis Winston is playing solid football, and I think that he'll continue to play solid football. I expect for him to, especially against these guys, these 49ers, I expect for him to go out there, and this game may even turn into a shootout. You know, I expect for some points to be put up in this game. 2 defenses who allow points. You know, I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go out there and find a way to win this game and move to 3-3, second in the division behind only the Atlanta Falcons, who we are projecting to lose this week. So that'll be a real interesting thing going into week 8. Next on the slate, we got the New England Patriots visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. Who you got, Joan?
I have been waiting on this game for weeks. And of course, with the situation with Ben Roethlisberger and his injury last Sunday, my spirit's a little bit weary. There's a lot of concern for me now with not just this game, but my boys over the course. It started off as a 3 or 4 week injury, and now it's 3 to 6, and it could actually end up being towards the end of the season. I'm sorry, it could end up being a season-ending injury depending on how he rebounds from the surgery. So there's still a lot of uncertainty with the quarterback, so consequently there's a lot of uncertainty with the direction of the team. But I have concern, but I never panic about my team. As you've probably heard from previous podcast episodes, I've spoken highly of our resiliency, how we persevere and how we just never give up despite all of the things that are thrown at us. I mean, going into last season, we got wrote off before we even touched the field for regular season because Troy Polamalu retired, Ike Taylor retired, and Dick LeBeau went on to the Titans. Yet somehow, some way, we still managed to get into the playoffs and make it to the divisional round. Same thing when Ben went down last year for 4 weeks. I remember Rodney Harrison just as blatantly saying on Sunday Night Football that the Steelers are going to go 0-4 without Ben Roethlisberger. We went 2-2. So KMA Rodney Harrison. And you know what that means. So I expect us to still, that's the core of us. That's the structure of that team. That's the character of that team. It's really difficult for me to pick against my boys this week. But we do have Landry Jones at quarterback, so I do have to be a realist. I think that the Patriots might get us on that, and it's solely because we do not have Ben. If we had Ben, there's no way, if, ands, or buts. I wouldn't even blink to say that we would win this game. I will give the Patriots a slight edge on this one. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people are anticipating. There's an ounce of me that still thinks that we could pull off this upset. Landry Jones has had more time to prepare this time. I know he was abysmal at periods of time last season, but again, that was last year, and he's had a lot more time to get in the classroom and prepare. We do have also issues at kicker, which I'm very disappointed in. I wish we would have got Robbie Gould, but he's been snatched, and he didn't go back to Chicago. So I guess I can't really complain because it could be worse. My quarterback situation and my kicker situation could be worse, i.e. how it is in Chicago. But again, I will give Brady and the Patriots an edge. Not really much to say about on their end. It's just honestly solely because we don't have Ben. but I'll definitely be monitoring this game because I do sense there's still a trace of an upset in my heart, in my mind, and in my spirit. But we'll definitely see.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely think that the chips are stacked against the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. With Ben being out, like you said, struggles at the kicker position. The defense is, week to week, certain times they shut people down and certain times they allow points. So, hopefully this is one of those weeks where the defense really steps up to the plate and makes the game interesting, considering that, this is the time they're going to really need to do it against Tom Brady and those two tight ends. I definitely think I'd give New England the edge as well. But I'm expecting for it to be a hard-fought, competitive contest as well. Moving into the next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks visiting the Arizona Cardinals. Two teams who many projected to be title contenders this season, and there was basically a coin flip on who would win the division. But currently, the Seattle Seahawks are well ahead in the division, and the Arizona Cardinals are still trying to pick up the pieces on where they went wrong. So, Joan, who you got?
How in the world did Arizona get 2 Sunday night games back to back? First and foremost, like where they do that at? Who y'all know? Who y'all work for? Like who y'all gave some money to? But yeah, that's really an eyebrow raiser. I mean, they're not the NFC champs. They didn't go to the Super Bowl. How in the world did they pull this off? I mean, it's Arizona. Like seriously. But anyway, moving right along. Of course, there's some concerns about Carson Palmer, the 14-year veteran, going into this game as he missed practice. He has a nagging hamstring injury. You know how those can be very unpredictable, touch and go. You 100% one moment and then back just deflated back at 0% the next. So that's how hamstring injuries go. I'm gonna tell you this: if Carson Palmer is not playing, then Seattle definitely wins. Plus, Seattle's defense, pass defense that is ranked number 5 currently in the league. And honestly, at this point, with that pass defense being as it is, it wouldn't matter if Kurt Warner was still their quarterback. Because Seattle's defense is just really, really getting things back on track to the defense that we remember of the Legion of Boom days. And back when they won the Super Bowl. Still not quite all the way there because, of course, there's been some personnel changes, but it's kind of similar to that. They're teetering to get back to that level. Their offense, of course, is a little bit different and concerns me. Now, if Carson Palmer plays, I will pick Arizona on this game. Here's the thing. I still don't all the way trust Seattle's offense. I just do not. And if this turns into a shootout, Arizona's definitely going to have the edge there just because of not even so much of playmakers per se. I mean, like Larry Fitzgerald, of course, he's a veteran. He's a possession receiver, and he gives you the advantages in jump balls and fade routes and things like that. But Seattle's secondary, they don't care about that. They're not intimidated by that whatsoever. They don't care about your size, Larry Fitzgerald. They're ball hawks. They're going to attack you. But again, I'm not discounting Seattle's defense. I'm more so discounting their offense. I'm just not all the way sold on this offense at this moment. The thing is, it's just very unpredictable and inconsistent. Jimmy Graham is touch and go. Russell Wilson is touch and go. The running game is touch and go. And of course, for whatever Doug Baldwin's going to do, it has to go through Russell Wilson. So consequently, because Russell Wilson's inconsistent, so is Doug Baldwin. But we know pretty much what we're going to get with Arizona's offense, Again, this boils down. If Carson Palmer does not play, then Seattle absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts wins this game. If Carson Palmer plays and he's like 90-95%, then I think Arizona will win. If he's only at 70%, then I'm going to go back to Seattle on this one. So it's a few factors that come into play on what who my true winner will be. But like I said, I'm just basing it completely on those factors there. And I like Bruce Arians. He used to be my coach with the Steelers. I like him a little bit more than Pete Carroll. Sorry, not sorry. So consequently, I also give Arizona the edge for that reason.
Your boy Guru's taking the Seattle Seahawks to dominate this game. Coming off of a game they won, you still got the feisty Richard Sherman unhappy about the way things went in the game. To me, that is the heart of a champion. even when you win, you're angry about things that went wrong in the game. Now, mind you, a lot of the breakdowns that they had last week against the Atlanta Falcons, Cam Chancellor was not there to make those plays. He was out for the game, and the rookie Kelsey McCray was in there, who allowed a couple big plays to the Atlanta Falcons. Cam Chancellor looked like he's going to be back this week. So, the Seattle Seahawks, a feisty, real fired up team. When they win, they're still hungry. So in a team like that, it's just hard to do anything against a team like that in any sport for that matter. Mm-hmm. And I think that bodes well for Seattle coming to this game. To me, the Arizona Cardinals, I don't know if they want it. This is a team that, people were expecting to be a title contender coming into the season. Everybody was talking about how good the running back Johnson is and, how great Carson Palmer is looking again. And the defense has got all this different talent and everything like that. They've lost some games that they weren't really supposed to lose. So I'm not quite sure that this team is ready to be a contender. And quite frankly, last season when they went into the NFC Championship game, I expected them to get beat anyway. So this is a team that, you hit them in the mouth, they're not going to respond. And that's something that you can expect from them. So in Seattle's a hit you in the mouth style of team. Christian Michael's a hit you in the mouth style running back. I expect for Seattle to come out here and play some real grinded out, nasty football and the Cardinals to get punked down. All right, so going into the Monday night game, we've got the Houston Texans, who won in stunning fashion last week, after the deep ball to Jalen Strong for the field goal against the Indianapolis Colts, against the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are the hosting team, and the Denver Broncos are another team coming off of a defeat at the hands of the San Diego Chargers, where it wasn't so stunning because they were pretty much manhandled the whole game. But their head coach was not on the sidelines. So with Gary Kubiak back, will this Denver team rebound? Will they reclaim their identity with their head coach back on the sidelines? Joan, who you got?
Well, to answer your question about Denver reclaiming, is Big Bird yellow? I'm going to answer your question with a question on this one. Denver has everything in their favor in this game. For starters, they've lost 2 straight, so they're going to be playing angry. And what better team to take it out on than the guy who ditched you in free agency? And you're playing at home. Also, Gary Kubiak used to be the coach of the Houston Texans, so he's very familiar with their nuances and things of that nature. And it wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple of seasons ago, so not that much has changed. Also, with Brock Osweiler playing in Denver last year, and even though he didn't get a lot of reps, Denver's defense is already familiar with playing against him, and they practiced against him and things like that. And mind you, it was not that long ago. We're talking about a mere free agency started in March last year. We're talking, 6 months, 7 months ago that I don't have the exact date, so it might have been like the 1st of April or something, but about 7 months ago that this guy was still a Denver Bronco. And so they're very upset about that too. And it's kind of like they might even just obliterate this guy. I mean, they lost 2 straight. They're coming back home. It's against their former quarterback. And also, I mean, there's no J.J. Watt. I mean, that hasn't been the make or break factor for Houston since he's been gone. But playing against a Denver team who's mad and peed off right now, this is one of those times you need all the help that you can get. And unfortunately, it's sans J.J. Watt on this. But I still don't think it would make much of a difference. Denver is known in their defense, and like you said, there's been some exposing of how their linebackers can't cover in the seam. One thing Denver has done very well all season is shut down quarterbacks. I mean, starting in week 1, look what they did to Cam Newton again. I mean, then you saw what they've done to Andrew Luck. And here they go again with a guy that they can't stand right now. That adds an extra spice to going after that quarterback. And do they get DeMarcus Ware back this week? Not sure about DeMarcus Ware, but still, it wouldn't matter. I mean, they still have Von Miller.
And Shane Ray.
And Shane Ray, absolutely. So, yeah, it's looking bad for you, Brock. This is one of those ones where you might just really wish you had like a publisher's clearinghouse check just come up at the crib and get like distracted by that and have to go deal with that and not go to this game. You need something. And it's out there in that altitude too. Oh my goodness, no way. It's looking really, really bad for the Texans in this game. I wish you well. They say that things are just bigger in Texas. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a big L that you guys have to tote back to Texas. because I really think that the Broncos are going to show off on you. The fans are going to be like going off. He's going to get all kinds of boos. Are you kidding me? That is definitely going to shake his confidence as well. And yeah, it's looking bad for you. I hate that this was on the calendar for you, but hey, you chose to go to Houston, and there you have it. So yeah, definitely going with the Broncos to get back on track. Probably even win by 10 in this game.
I agree 100%. I think the Denver Broncos come out there angry, trying to keep pace with the Oakland Raiders in leading the division. They're going to have to come out here and win this game. I expect for the Denver Broncos to come out like gangbusters. I mean, Houston fans, y'all might as well just, not even get your cups ready. Schedule something else like church or something like that, because this is a game that you're probably not going to want to tune into. The Denver Broncos are probably going to maul your boys and send them back home real disappointed. I will say that something I was just talking about, the Denver Broncos being exposed in terms of their linebackers not being able to cover in space against tailbacks. So I expect for Houston to try to the Atlanta Falcons / New England Patriots game plan by putting their running back in space. I'm not quite sure if the overrated Lamar Miller can make those types of plays, but expect for the Houston Texans to try to put a scat back out there in the slot and see if he can go to work against one of those linebackers and make some plays for Brock Osweiler. However, Brock Osweiler, I wouldn't be surprised if he threw multiple interceptions in this game. Validated what I already expect out of him being the scrub that he is. With that said, yes, I think the Denver Broncos definitely win this game.
All right, so that concludes the schedule for Week 7. Again, we already talked about the Thursday night's game and who we thought was going to win that game. We were both accurate in predicting Green Bay, and we broke down the 1 o'clock games for you as well on the previous podcast. And today we discussed the 4:05, 4:25, the Sunday night's game, and the Monday night games. And you heard our various picks, so we'll touch base with you after the weekend and see who was the most accurate. There's no games scheduled this weekend for the Cowboys and the Panthers, as they're both on byes. Two teams with opposite records. Carolina, of course, the NFC champions, reigning champions, 1-5, and the Cowboys at 5-1. And that's honestly something I thought probably would have been closer to the reverse of that. I've honestly thought Cowboys might would have been 1-5 and the Panthers would have been 5-1. But as we get into next week, we'll start talking about, since they're going to pick up games next week, we'll start talking about the things that they need to do to either continue their success or to gain some success, as we've done on previous podcasts when teams come out of the bye week anyhow. All right, so Guru, tell the good people how they can get a hold of you if they need some assistance with production, beats, bar mitzvahs, photography, weddings, things of that nature. How can they get in contact with you?
Like us at Cold Coffee TV on Facebook. Follow us at Cold Coffee TV on Twitter. Subscribe to us at Cold Coffee TV and Cold Coffee News on YouTube. Run with us or run from us, baby. You know the motto.
No doubt. He forgot to shout out Raiders Nation too, but I guess that's because they play at 1 o'clock on Sunday and we didn't talk about the 1 o'clock game this time. I'm giving them a pass, but nonetheless, it's for me, your girl Latasha Miles, aka Joan Madden, the Gridiron Goddess. I can be found on Facebook under Latasha Joan Madden Miles. Again, Latasha Joan Madden Miles on Facebook. On Twitter and IG, I'm under @she_SPN. Again, @she_SPN on Twitter and IG. The YouTube channel is SheSPN the Network. Again, SheSPN the Network on YouTube. And I have a book out entitled When Football Season Turns You Into His Side Chick, The Ultimate Survival Guide for Relationships and Households During Football Season. Available now on Amazon.com and CreateSpace.com. Kind of picking up a little bit of steam. Got a little national attention that was recently provided to the book. So yeah, the support is appreciated. Because look, I hate for it to be one of the moments where like, now you got a chance to say, oh, I know her, instead of I used to know her. Because if you act like you don't know me now, I'm definitely going to act like I don't know you in the future. So yeah, you might want to go out here and show some love and support and things of that nature. Well, I'm still kind of in that first gear right now, because like that episode of Martin, I'm like a man smoking a cigarette at a gas station. I'm about to blow up. I'm kidding. I'm running off of fumes right now. Only if you guys knew, like, I'm actually, like, I've been sleepwalking. Like, I've been closing my eyes between this session. You just gotta understand, I'm so exhausted. But hey, it's about football, so I can pump a couple of fumes to get that on out of the way. But yeah, I was just kidding, talking junk about that, messing with you good people as we go ahead and fade out to the weekend. Everybody have a safe and enjoyable weekend. I know there's HBCUs around the country. Howard, maybe Hampton, one of them. I think it's Howard, actually. I apologize. But I think, yeah, Howard's having their homecoming. Of course, mine was last weekend at WSSU, and then your A&T Aggies next weekend. So, yeah, that's how October is. Big time of year for HBCU. So, everybody be safe out there. Enjoy. Have a good time. And we'll catch you the next time. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. And we're out.